Hi, good day. This is Miss LM and we're back again for another math video, and today we're going to talk about finding linear inequalities. So in this video, we are going to learn how to find linear inequalities given its graph only. So paano nga ba natin malalaman kung anong linear inequality yung nandun gamit lamang yung graph na given? So let's have the steps on how we can find the linear inequalities given only its graph. We have here 4 steps to follow on how we can find the linear inequality given its graph. First, we have to equate or find the equation of the line given only its graph. At ang pinakamadaling way na po on how we can find the equation of the line is using the slope and the y-intercept. Here, hanapin natin yung y-intercept kung saan dumaan yung line. And also, from that y-intercept, we're going to count units upward and then to the left or to the right para malaman natin yung slope. Gamit yon, makakapag-form na tayo ng equation of the line. And then for step 2, dito naman papasok yung inequality. We have to determine the inequality by substituting 1 point from the shaded region. Siyempre, importante po sa atin na kumuha or malaman yung point na nandun sa shaded region para malaman kung anong inequality nga ba yung gagamitin natin. And dun papasok si step 3. So, identify the appropriate inequality symbol to the resulting equation. So, dahil nga po meron tayong 1 point na nanggaling sa shaded region, may magiging result tayo doon, and we have to use the appropriate inequality symbol onto that resulting equation para magawa natin itong ating step number 4. We have to write the linear inequality form. So, gamit yung steps 1 to 3, mabubuo natin yung inequality na meron dun sa ating graph. Okay? So, now let's have our first example. We have here, find the inequality described by the graph. So, here's the graph. We have here 2 points. We have the line and the shaded region. We have to follow these 4 steps to find the inequality described by this graph. So, for the first step, find the equation of the line. And as I've said earlier, it is much better to use the slope-intercept form. From this graph, yung line muna yung kunin natin. To get the slope-intercept form, hanapin muna natin yung kailangan nating details. Ano po ba yon? The slope and the y-intercept. From this line, saan nga ba sa y-axis dumaan yung ating line? We have negative 6. That is why ang ating BI, negative 6. Then, for the slope, we have to count the number of units upward and also the number of units to the left. So, how many units upward? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 units upward, so the numerator will be 6. And then for the denominator, we have to count number of units to the left. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 units to the left, and since to the left nga po ito, we have negative 6. Then, yan po yung ating isa-substitute sa ating slope-intercept form of the equation. So, we have y is 6 over negative 6, x plus negative 6. 6, numerator, negative 6 yung ating denominator, and then the y-intercept is negative 6. Now, simplify natin to, ayusin natin yung pagkakasulat ng equation. 6 divided by negative 6 is negative 1x, and then plus negative 6, so that will become negative or minus 6. So, we have here y is equals to negative 1x minus 6 or y is equals to negative x minus 6. So, ito na yung equation na nakuha natin from the line. Now, we have to determine the inequality by substituting 1 point from the shaded region. So, any point from this shaded region, pwede tayong kumuha kahit alin. So, in this example, ang kukunin nating point ay ang negative 6 and negative 5. And we have to substitute that on our resulting equation. So, ang x ay negative 6, ang y ay negative 5. So, y will be negative 5 and then x is negative 6. So, we're going to have negative of negative 6 minus 6. So, negative 5 is equals to negative of negative 6 is positive 6, and 6 minus 6 is 0. So, negative 5 and 0 ngayon yung ating i-compare. And we have to identify the appropriate inequality symbol for this one. Negative 5 and 0. So, what is the appropriate inequality symbol that we have to use between negative 5 and 0? Alin bang mas malaki? Di ba po yung 0? So, negative 5 is less than 0. So, ito po yung ating inequality symbol na appropriate para sa resulting equation. And then, we have to write the linear inequality form. But, we have to take note about the line. So, ano nga ba yung line na nakadraw? Is it solid or broken line? So, kapag broken line, ang gagamitin lang natin is itong less than or yung greater than. Di po ba? Pero since ito ay solid line, ang kailangan nating inequality symbol ay yung may or equal to. So, from here, and since the line on the graph is solid, the inequality symbol must be less than or equal to. Kukunin natin itong ating nabuong equation, y is equals to negative x minus 6. Then, we have to write it using the inequality symbol less than or equal to. So the resulting linear inequality in two variable will be y is less than or equal to negative x minus 6. So ito po yung hinahanap nating linear inequality for our example number 1. Okay? So you can also rewrite this as x plus y. So additive inverse of negative x is positive x. So that will be x plus y is less than or equal to negative 6. So same lang po sila nitong y is less than or equal to negative x minus 6. So that's for our example number 1. Let's proceed to our example number 2. So here we have this graph. Ayan, we have these 2 points and then the broken line and then the shaded region. And here are the steps we should follow to find the linear inequality described by this graph. So for the first step, we have to find the equation using the slope-intercept form. So unang hanapin natin is the y-intercept. Saan nga ba dumaan sa y-axis yung ating line? So we have here positive 2. So from this point, itong nasa baba, we have to count units upward. Ilang unit nga ba pataas? So we have 1, 2. That will be the numerator. That will be the rise or the change in y. Now for the change in x or yung run natin, how many units siya to the right? We have 1, 2, 3. So, dahil to the right yan, positive po yan. And if we substitute that to our slope-intercept form, we will going to have y is equals to 2/3 x plus 2. Again, 2/3 is the slope and 2 is the y-intercept. And to eliminate the denominator, we have to multiply all of the equation by positive 3 or yung ating denominator. So, multiply natin yan. Magkakaroon tayo ng 3 times y, that's 3y. 2/3 times 3, makakancel si denominator, which is yun yung goal natin. Matitira na lang si 2 times x, which is 2x. And then, 2 times 3 is 6. So, ito ngayon yung equation na na-form natin. Now, we have to determine the inequality. So, hahanap na ulit tayo ng isang point sa shaded region. Again, tandaan po, sa shaded region lang tayo kukuha. So, in this example, ang kinuha nating point is negative 1 and positive 4. So, that's what we have to substitute here on our equation. So, y is 4 and then x is negative 1. So, 3 times 4 is 12 and 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then 6 plus negative 2 is positive 4. So, how are we going to compare 12 and 4? So, equal nga ba? Yun po yung i-identify natin. So, ano nga po yung ating inequality symbol na appropriate for 12 and 4? That is greater than. Okay? And dahil nga po broken line po ito, we don't need to put any or equal to. So, greater than lang po. Kunin natin yung ating equation, 3y and then 2x plus 6. Ang gagamitin na nating inequality symbol ay greater than. So, here is the resulting equation. 3y is greater than 2x plus 6. And also, we can have the additive inverse of positive 2x. That's negative 2x. We're going to have negative 2x plus 3y is greater than 6. So, the same lang po sila. So, that's for our second example. Let's proceed to our third example. We have here this graph. Again, we have 2 points, a line, and then the shaded region. And here are the steps we should follow to find the inequality described by this graph. So, the first is to find the equation of the line. And pinaka maganda ng gamitan is the slope-intercept form. So, the first thing that we have to look at the graph is the y-intercept. Saan nga ba dumaan yung line natin sa y-axis? And that is negative 4. So, for the y-intercept, that is negative 4. And for the slope, we have to count the number of units upward and then number of units to the right para makuha natin yung ating rise over run or change in y over change in x. So, ilang units upward? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, numerator or our rise is positive 4. Then, for the run, how many units to the right? 1, 2, 3. So, there are 3 units. So, that will be our denominator or ang ating run. Now, the slope is positive 4 over 3 and obviously naman, kita naman sa line na ang line natin ay upward from left to right. So, siya ay positive slope talaga. So, positive 4 over 3 and the y-intercept is negative 4. I-substitute natin siya dito sa ating slope-intercept form. We are going to have y is equals to 4 over 3x minus 4. And then, to eliminate the denominator, we have to multiply the whole equation by the LCD and the LCD is positive 3. So, multiply natin both sides of the equation. So, 3 times y is 3y. And then, 4 over 3x times 3 is 4x. And then, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Kaya po, nakabuo tayo ng 3y is equals to 4x minus 12. So, from this equation, we have to substitute 1 point from the shaded region para malaman natin kung ano nga ba yung i-compare natin at nang malaman natin kung ano ang magiging inequality symbol. So, kuha tayo ng isang point from the shaded region and since kasama si origin or si 0, 0, 0 sa shaded region, mas okay na siya yung gamitin natin kasi mas madali pong mag-substitute ng 0, 0 at mag-perform ng operation, lalo na kung 0 din naman po yung i-multiply natin. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 3y, which is magiging 3 times 0, 4x magiging 4 times 0. So, ang magiging resulting equation natin is 0 and negative 12. So, sila yung i-compare natin and syempre, alam naman natin na hindi siya equal. So, what will be the appropriate inequality symbol? Ito na po yung ating step number 3. So, 0 and negative 12, alin nga bang mas malaki? That is 0. So, at the same time, for step number 4, kailangan mo natin tignan kung anong line nga ba yung nakadraw. Solid line ba or broken line? And in this example, siya po ay broken line, kaya po ang atin pong inequality symbol ay greater than pa rin. So, the inequality 3y is greater than 4x minus 12, or we can have the additive inverse of positive 4x, that is negative 4x plus 3y. So, dahil positive si 3y, greater than pa din siya sa negative 12. So, both of these linear inequality na na-formed ay pareho lamang. So, that's for our third example. Let's proceed to our fourth example. We have here this graph. So, as you can see, we have only one point here and then a horizontal line and then the shaded region. And again, same step lang po to follow. First is to find the equation of the line. So, as you can see, meron tayong horizontal line, and kapag horizontal line, we all know na ang slope natin dyan ay 0. And the y-intercept, obviously, positive to siya nakalagay. So, if we are going to use the slope-intercept form, meron tayong y is equals to mx plus b. Our slope is 0 and the y-intercept is positive 2. Or in short, we have y is equals to 2. But since kailangan nating malaman kung anong inequality symbol ang kailangan nating gamitin, again, proceed pa rin tayo dito sa ating mga sumunod na step. So, step 2, kuha tayo ng isang point dito sa ating shaded region. And again, dahil kasama si origin sa shaded region, pwedeng si origin na yung gamitin natin. So, magkakaroon tayo ng y, which is 0, and then 2. So, sila yung kailangan nating i-compare. Again, they are not equal. So, anong inequality symbol po ang dapat nating gamitin? 0 and 2. Alin ang mas malaki? That is positive 2. So, 0 is less than 2 ang ating symbol. And again, tignan natin yung ating line kung solid or broken. At dahil solid line yan, kailangan po ang ating pong inequality symbol ay may or equal to. So, from y is equals to 2, magiging y is less than or equal to positive 2. And ito lang po yung ating linear inequality na pwede for this graph. So, that's for our fourth example. Then, let's proceed to our last example. So, here we have this graph, and as you can see, meron tayong vertical line na sa x-axis lang nag-intersect. Meron tayong isang point, and then our shaded region. So, in this case, if we follow these 4 steps, again, kailangan pa rin natin itong sundan. But, for the first step po, hindi tayo makakapag-form ng ating slope-intercept form. Bakit? Kasi kapag vertical po yung line natin, automatically, ang slope natin ay undefined. And also, dahil nga po hindi naman nag-intersect sa y-axis yung ating line, yung atin pong y-intercept ay parang na ring undefined dahil hindi naman po nag-intersect sa y-axis yung ating line. So, mafo-form lang po natin for the equation is x is equals to 3. Then, proceed tayo dito sa ating step number 2, which is to substitute one point from the shaded region, and the point na napili for this example is 6 and 0. So, x will be 6 and then compared to positive 3. At pag pinag-compare natin yan, we all know that 6 is greater than 3. So, ang atin pong inequality symbol, ang gagamitin ay greater than. Then, for the last step, we have to write the linear inequality. And dahil nga po, broken line po yung line natin, ay hindi po magbabago yung ating inequality symbol. Greater than pa din. So, from x is equals to 3, ang inequality na pinapakita ng graph na ito ay x is greater than 3. So, this is the last example for this topic, and I hope na may natutunan kayo. Again, to find the inequality described by the graph, we have to follow these steps. Equate using the slope-intercept form. Determine the inequality by substituting one point from the shaded region. Tandaan po, kuha lang tayo ng point dun sa ating shaded region. Then, kapag na-substitute na natin siya sa resulting equation natin, dun natin i-identify kung ano nga bang appropriate inequality symbol yung dapat nating gamitin. And then, for the final answer or final inequality, kailangan natin tignan yung ating line kung broken nga ba or solid. Para kung solid line siya, ang ating pong inequality symbol ay lalagyan natin nung or equal to or nung bar doon sa ilalim. So, that's all. And thank you for watching. Huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe, mag-like, at mag-share nitong video na ito. That's all and thank you. Bye-bye!